morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us again. And hello to you, Ramie and Jessica.
Hello.
Everything going well for you?
It is.
Good.
I am exhausted this morning, but I always come on after working my shifts at the hospital, so I'll catch up.
That's right. I wanted to say happy full moon day to everybody.
Oh yeah, Tuesday. Is it pink moon?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Mhm.
And at least in where I live, the full moon is like at 6:30 this evening.
Okay.
So I put out my jar of water last night, and it got all sorts of electrolytes from the thunder and lightning, and a little bit of rain. And yeah, I'll leave it out until, let's see, tomorrow morning after the full moon, I guess. And then we'll drink it while holding intentions. So awesome. We look forward to it twice a month on the new moon and the full moon. Yeah.
Nice.
You do new moon water as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's different intentions with each.
Okay.
And I can't explain exactly which is which right now off the top of my head. This year, I'm kind of one of the things I'm devoting extra time to is to learn more about the universe, the nature, the star energies, sun, moon energies, and how they work together and how I can work with them, how they affect us and how I can work with them. And it's been exciting because it's really, really cool. And I can feel the moon energy, right? I think a lot of people can. And you can talk to the sun and the same way with the stars. Like now starting, I believe, Sunday, I was looking at my calendar, was the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter together. And that starts a 13-year cycle. The last time in 2011, it began in Pisces. And of course, Sunday was starting Taurus. And so that energy changes a little. But this 13-year cycle is for success and luck. And it guides us to new beginnings and self-liberation for lasting changes in our lives. And so beginning last week and then this week, we should kind of, I've heard, be on the observance to see different energies at work in your life and changes that you might feel you need to make, or things that come to you, what the energies bring to you, bring changes in your life. And sometimes they're big changes and you may feel exposed or vulnerable or not ready for it. Sometimes you might not notice anything, and then your mind will start worrying that, and making you doubt that change is for success is coming. And sometimes you might notice the changes, but not really see any fruition to it for a couple years or connect things to that until you can look back then a year or two later and say, oh, that's why that happened, because that's led to this, right? And so anyway, but I was just going to share my story. The last 2-3 weeks, I'd been feeling kind of I guess a nudge, you could say, or dissatisfaction with a couple things, how things were going. And then I had listened to a podcast about this Uranus and Jupiter energy. And I did put that link down below for anyone that wanted to watch that video. But so anyway, so I went for a walk with my puppy that evening, and it was still daylight, but the moon was out. And so I just started talking to the moon and the sun, and to also then to Uranus and Jupiter, and saying, okay, well, I'm kind of feeling flustered because I think things should change, but I don't know what to change, and I'm uncertain of everything. And, the last few months, I really learned, like the last 6 or 8 months, I've really learned that if I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do, I should do, not that I should do nothing, but I shouldn't push for change. If
Mm.
I don't know exactly, I'm not certain in my spirit what I'm being led to do, because what I push for and do always results in frustration and overwhelm, and it gets done, but then like nothing happens with it. Nothing comes of all the work. But if I just wait for something, for the universe to plop something in my head, then it's like bam, it takes off, right? And so I knew I wasn't going to do anything. So I was walking the dog and thinking of, feeling frustrated with not knowing what to do, but I wasn't going to do anything until I knew for sure what to do. And so um, the next morning, woke up in the wee hours, way before the alarm went off. And it was like connections were being made and information. I was just receiving, knowing, right, that yes, this was the change to make and that was the change to do. And they all popped together so great. And it was really awesome. So we'll see where they all lead. And, but yeah, it'll lead to self-liberation for sure, right? It'll lead to collaborating more with other people. It'll lead to success in many ways, right? Success isn't just lots of viewers or lots of clients or lots of money. There's many, many forms of success, although those always would be nice too, right? And so anyway, one of those ideas then that I had was for the podcast, and I was just going to say we're going to be bringing on other guests regularly because we've enjoyed it when we've had the other guests on, and it is just so fun and interesting to learn what other people are doing and talk and share about how we have different perspectives or the same perspective and just learn from each other, and also to give anyone that listens um, a chance to see other opportunities for things in the world that might help them, other practitioners or modalities that they didn't know about that they might find helpful too. So that was kind of my last few days, starting Thursday, I guess. And I've been excited about how these changes and this new cycle will start, a 13-year cycle. So what about
Good.
you guys? Have you noticed any changes yet in yours?
I notice I'm more accepting.
Nice. Yeah.
I have no clue what I'm supposed to do. I have no clue. I have all these skills, and it's always been a struggle, And my friend, I was talking to her yesterday. I hadn't talked to her in 2 years. We worked on the train together, and that was fun. But she's going to Alaska to work as a server on maybe a cruise line. I don't know, something. But she's committed to 5 months, and I don't know if she doesn't either. But yeah, she keeps telling me Kansas City's the wrong city for me. I said, well, I've been here almost 50 years. I don't think I'm moving, so I don't know. Yeah, so I accept it. I just am accepting. I'll just sit home and do what I'm going to do and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of, taking that job, just allowing what will happen, because I told her about my pool job and we laughed. And that's about it. Yeah. So, yeah.
How does the accepting make you feel, Ramie?
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, it does. it seems more grounded. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Before I would be like, oh my God, I got to get a job. I got to get a job. I got to
Mhm.
help Jeff out. And I don't feel like that now. Just okay. I'll sit here and I'll enjoy the quiet.
And what does that quiet and that sitting there do for you?
Well, it lets me be more quiet and more introspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
And how
that
does
One
that make you feel?
good, good. It's different a little bit, you know. Yeah, yeah. And my daughter, she finally came back. You know, the one I meditate with every day. She was attending to her house guests, and they finally left, and so she's back on track, and that feels good. We at least we meditate together, and I always, not always, but I do slip in an NLP technique just because it's fun. And today we did one. Do you remember compulsion blowout? Did you learn that one? No.
Not
Okay.
that phrase that way anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I could go into it if you want, but yeah, we did that one. That was really interesting. So I know she wants to quit smoking, and so I asked her, um, when you see yourself smoking, where is it in front of you? Is it right in front of you? Is it to the left? Is it to the right? And notice, is it cold? Is it warm? Is it bright? All the submodalities.
Mhm.
And hers was above her head. So that tells me she's not grounded. So if you're not grounded and you're smoking, it could be easy to quit if you ground. I haven't told her this, but that's what I'm thinking. And I thought, wow, that is so cool. And then I asked her to think of something else, and just to see where that was, and it was in front of her. And you play with it, like you send it back, send it. And then at the end, like the cigarette, you just make it bigger and bigger. And I mean, it fills up the whole room. It could fill up the whole planet if your imagination allowed it. But the bigger it got, the sillier it is to want that cigarette.
Hmm.
So that's called compulsion blowout.
Okay.
So can you guys think of something you don't want to do anymore? And where is it in? Is it in front of you? Is it to the left or to the right? Or is it above you like my daughter's? Yeah, notice where is it in space? You got it? Carla does. Do you, Jessica?
I'm still trying to think of what I don't want to do.
Oh,
But you keep going. You keep going.
well, Carla,
I
okay,
like everything I'm doing.
okay, good, good. Carla, so what happens when you move it away and you make it smaller and smaller and smaller? And notice if there's
I
any
don't like.
color. Ooh, you don't like that, do you?
I don't like
Yeah,
it.
good, good. Keep now when it's that small away. Look, notice if there's any sound to it. Are you telling yourself something? Just notice. And then while you're there, make it bigger and bigger and big and bigger, bigger. I mean, fill up your whole space with that image. And then bigger, she's easy. And then, yeah, open your eyes and see how you feel about what you don't want to do anymore.
Well, it sure felt better to be um, have it so big that it engulfed me.
Hmm. Yeah,
That
that's exactly the
and
reaction
it
I want.
changed color. Um, that felt good. The For me, I guess one of the perhaps the biggest inner struggle I have, and I've talked about it before, is um, kind of what I feel to be a out of control desire for sugar. Not that I eat it constantly, but I don't like having that well, it's not constant all day long, but say every day,
Mhm.
right? I would
Completely.
like to be okay with a treat once in a while, right? A couple days a week or something. I would love to be happy with a treat a couple
Mhm.
days a week, but I desire something daily, sometimes more than daily.
Right.
And I don't it's not that I mind. I mean, I know that sugar's not good for me, and that's part of it. Um, but for me, the difficult thing is having a desire that's not controllable, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And sorry, this is
So
it's deeply seated with me, right? Because
uh-huh.
it was part of my 3-year-old trauma because
Uh-huh.
the man gave me money and said to buy candy, right?
Uh-huh.
And that I was a bad girl. So these things are all connected
Mhm.
together.
Related. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all related. So I felt it close to me, right? And it
Uh-huh.
was like right in my face. And then it was down by not on my heart side, but on the right hand side. And then pushing it away did not feel good at all. It felt sad. Right.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh. So next
wait,
time, yeah, instead of pushing it away, sit with it and go through all your pain, okay? And then and then see if you can make it a different color. Was it a color?
at first, when you first talked about color, I didn't see a color until I had pushed it away. And then at a distance when it was very small, I could see the center of it was green, right? Like heart
Mhm.
energy, right?
Oh,
And
nice.
then when well, see the sadness, what I felt in the sadness moving away was, "You don't love me."
Mhm. Yeah, but okay, hold on. Okay. So when you're there, I want you to revisit this whole exercise, and if you need help, let me know. But next time, sit with a green color and you can reframe it. You can now, your older self, tell the younger one, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then tell her how sorry you are that you had to go through this. I am so sorry. And see how that feels. And then when that feels good enough, I want you to make it bigger. And then did you make it bigger and bigger and
When I
bigger?
made it bigger and it engulfed me, it was white.
Ah, very good.
So that would
Keep
be
with that.
crown energy, right?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it means that it's transmuting. So just keep playing with that. Play with that whole image and the feelings. And I want you to really sit with the feelings that you're a bad girl because you're not, and you know this. You know this. So
right. And
yeah,
I
feel it.
I feel that really in being able to tap so quickly into those feelings and with your exercise today was really a big um, change for me in many ways because the feelings were different and I was tapping into them differently. Um, to a couple 3 weeks ago, I had a huge inner healing. I was working with a friend who does a form of Eden energy method, and
Mhm.
and in fact, she's going to be our guest hopefully next week. and so we'll see if that works out. But so we were healing all the blocks that this little child within me, this
Mm-hmm.
pieces of consciousness that had been stuck at those times in my life, and the at the time of the trauma, and releasing the blocks or dissipating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Transmuting the blocks for, gosh, we went through, I bet, 10 or 12 different big, huge blocks. I was totally worn out when we were done. I was, had no energy the rest of the day, but it was huge emotionally. And I've noticed so many changes in me. It's like the drive that I've always had to push and push, and kind of like you were saying, Ramie, acceptance, and Jessica was saying it earlier about not knowing for sure which to go. So she was just waiting until she knew. And it was like found that very difficult to do before. I always had this drive to push things and work on things, processing, with my mind and get things done. And basically it was about um proving myself worthy, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think was a lot of it, or proving I was lovable or valuable, things like that. And after this inner healing I had a couple of weeks ago, it's been a major shift. I mean, I can sit in acceptance, like what you were talking about, Ramie, and I don't have that urge. I don't have to prove myself at all. I don't.
No.
It's been really wonderful, and things um, like from that trauma, I only realized, for people that don't know or haven't um, read my book, because I did talk about it in my book. Um, I only found out about the trauma during a biofield session a few years ago. I had no remembrance. I had blocked it all out, and James McFadden, that we had as a guest 2-3 weeks ago. Um, I worked with him in hypnosis, and I've worked with Ramie in hypnosis, and I've worked in other biofield sessions with other practitioners. And at different times, there's been major clearing, but and that have all led up then all as each step clears, it makes it easier for the next step. And I was thrilled that it was ready to clear then this last time. And it's made such a difference because I had never known about it. But since I'd known about it, I hadn't been able to tell my mother um, about it, because I think I was protecting her, because I knew she would feel terrible because, she hadn't
Oh,
been able to do anything because she didn't know it had happened. And protecting, I know my brother was one of them, because he was part of the memory. He had tried to help, but couldn't, and he was like locked out of the room. And so I was protection, right? All these different aspects of uh, a, a dozen different emotions that were all um, continuing these stuck pieces of consciousness that we couldn't all work together, right? Or resolve it to be whole. And inner healing is beautiful.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it is. It is.
It's,
It is. It is. Yeah. The all these wounds that we have, it affects the whole family in their
and I
own way.
was able to tell my mom, and
Right.
we talked about it. And of course, she had no recollection, she had no knowledge of it at all. And but it was good to talk about it, right? And
Yeah.
so it's good, right? It's part of healing.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
And the more you really sit in love and just give it to yourself, be the most compassionate. Uh, yeah, it will heal. It will heal all on its own.
yeah, yeah, well,
And I want to throw in, one thing that has been had been hard for me when Ramie said, well, and just in the subject of loving yourself, if that's hard for you or for anybody to think, I've just got to love myself, but you can love others. I heard recently, and what's been helping me is loving yourself. I don't just have to sit here and say, I love myself, because that doesn't feel
Right.
good, but it's the actions that you take each day. So I'm loving myself by eating nutritious foods. I'm loving myself by sleeping the amount of time that I need to sleep. I'm loving myself by, getting sunshine in the morning. So just, you don't have to force, like I was trying these years maybe to force myself to love myself. But then I realized, oh my gosh, I do love myself. I'm doing all these things
Right.
that are good for me, like talking to you guys, coming onto the podcast. It's something I'm doing to love myself, right? And what I've also learned as, love, and you guys can both explain it better than me, but God is love, the universe is love, the oneness is love, whatever you want to call it. So whenever we're not feeling that, we're pinching ourselves off from that, right? It's not that there's something wrong or we're doing something bad per se, but we're just pinching ourselves off from that oneness, from God, from the universe, because that is that ever flowing love. And so when we get into those memories or those just self reflections that aren't as positive, like for myself, that's just pinching ourselves off from that flowing love. So anyway, I just wanted to throw in there that, loving yourself is doing the things. It's not sitting there and saying, I have to love myself. I have to love myself. I have to love myself, but I don't really feel like it.
Right. Well, and it's important to remember also that the pinching off process doesn't really happen. It only happens in our minds,
Thank you,
right?
Carla. Thank you.
And it
Yeah.
cannot happen physically or physiologically
Yeah.
or energetically, because we're all part of that. We're all made of it. And so it only happens in our mind because of our all the stories we have told
Yeah, our
ourselves
story.
growing up,
Right.
right? And the things that formed when we were so little that we didn't have anything to compare it to and say, that's not true. And so you accept
Right.
it as true.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's like I turn to God or the spirit and say, why in the world did you make us that way?
Yeah.
It gets frustrating and feels counterproductive. But so I don't know why we're made that way. In some ways, you can explain it as a protection mechanism. And in other ways, you can explain it as just a built-in opportunity for personal growth that makes us who we are so that we can step into that healing and step into who we really are and the power we really have in the universe and use that platform to share with others who can use that boost of help too, or that boost of love from us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're doing a great job, Carla. And it does, for me, it does come down to what is the big questions, right? Like, what is the universe? Why are we, here? And so you have to think about those things and the different thoughts that there are on that. And then in the Christian world, they say that you have you can make your own decisions, so why did we choose to come down here? What is the word I'm trying to think of? I can't think of it right now, but that's okay. But the ability to make our own decisions. So I think that, you have to free will. Thank you. You have to just think of, what did I choose to come down here to learn? And it's happening. I mean, whether you're aware of it or not, it's happening. And so just for me recently with you guys and with your both of your help, I'm sitting back and thinking, wow, this is amazing. The traumas that I've been through in my childhood and then a young adulthood with my ex-husband and all the sadness, but everything, and you can take it from the Bible or you can take it from different teachings. Everything that I've been through is working out, is working out for me. Everything that's happening, everything is working out for me and for my highest good, or however you want to say it. And the Bible says it, the different teachings, they all say it. So every day I'm just trying. Like yesterday I had a bad day at the hospital, right? But it's all working out for me. It is all working out for me, right?
And it does. We just
And
don't
it does.
always feel it in the moment. We might not feel it for years until you can look back and say, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you that I've grown so much through that. Thank you that that happened so that I
Yeah.
could grow and that I can feel this and that I can use this to color my life, right, in a way that will benefit everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really okay to benefit yourself.
Thank
It
you, Ramie.
is.
Good
It
job, Ramie.
is.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you
And
know what?
we have to.
Yeah, for talking about. So here's what I did for years, because I like to send energy to my family and my circle, blah blah. And it dawned on me that I wasn't in the circle.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ramie.
Typical healer. Typical.
Typical. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought, wow. So I've been including myself in the circle, and
Good.
maybe that's what the shift is, because I'm just allowing the love. As long as I can feel it, I'm good, and I can send it. And miracles happen in the now. So realize that you're sitting where you are,
But it's a
feeling what
miracle.
you feel. Yeah, doing what you do. It's okay. It is okay. And that's where I'm at. Yeah, it's okay. So
One thing that I practice, I do every day, I hold trees a lot because they send our intentions throughout the universe. And I always hold the tree. And what I do is I picture like my children, my grown children, and I call to their spirit from my spirit to their spirit, and their minds don't have any knowledge that I'm doing it, but our spirits are everywhere in the universe
right.
and communicate through the light waves of the universe. And so I call in each one by name and their families and my mother. And it's like then I call in the rest of all our families and their families and all the people that live in the world. And then I call in all that have died and the angels and other
Right.
forms in the afterlife that want to come. And then I call in the sky clock, all the sun, moon, and stars, and I call in energy until we're all one. And then I pause until and the ancestors in the oneness, right? The angels and stuff in heaven, or the oneness as I call it. And it's like I wait until I feel everyone in me, right? Or everyone right pressed around me. So we're all against that tree together. And
Aw.
it's like then I can speak for all of us as if we already have it. When I
Right.
feel them all with me, I speak as if, because I feel we are there. We are together, right? We are one, which we will be, right? Which we already are. We just don't know, or not everybody knows. And
Yeah.
so I hold that intention. And I don't know where I was going with that, but instead of a a circle. I guess I picture us as one, which it would be what the circle would be, of course. Yeah. So anyway, and from that note, I asked the tree there. I usually hold a linden tree because there's one right outside my house. It's great big, and in the summertime, probably in July, it'll be loaded with blossoms and full of 100,000 honeybees and bumblebees and mason bees and all sorts of stuff. You can just stand under it and hear it buzzing. And so I asked the tree for a message for us this morning. And the tree says, look around you with new eyes. And this wasn't just for me, this was for everybody. Look around you with new eyes. Look beyond what your eyes can see. Hear or listen beyond what your ears hear. And you'll know who you are.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's been an emotional session. It's been a good session for me. Good inner healing. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And this
Yeah.
is the success, right, of this 13-year cycle that I started talking about, right, that brings new beginnings for self-liberation and lasting change for success. What is more success than
Healing.
inner healing and liberating
Ah.
yourself to be fully all that you are meant to be inside, right?
That
That's
sounds
all that's
And then
needed.
let that spread physically, right? But yeah, it's beautiful. So
I
I don't
want to
have
come hug
anything.
your tree too, Carla.
Oh, well, you come. Why don't you both come one day? We'll
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
lunch here.
Yeah.
We'll have to, yeah, we'll have
Oh,
lunch.
that'd be so fun.
It
Yeah.
would
would
be,
be
wouldn't
fun.
it?
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
It's this summer we'll do that.
Very good. We'll plan for July when the bumblebees are buzzing in the tree. How's that?
All right. Sounds
And
good.
the honeybees are there. So awesome. Very good. So do you guys have anything more to add today? Anything on
No?
your thought? Otherwise, I think we've had a very full, meaningful time together. And I hope it brings meaning to any of you that listen to and know that all of us are on the same path, right? We're just walking at our own
Yes.
angle to the whole. So love you all. Thanks
Love
for
you.
being here. And wait, I do need to click a banner
There
here.
you go.
Please like and subscribe to help us grow so we can be found. And we'll look forward to the next time. And again, we're going to be bringing different guests on. So anyone that listens who has an idea for someone that you'd like to hear talk that would be about energy healing modalities or inner healing or health, then drop us a line and let us know. Let us know your ideas. So we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.